is up, guys? Lord Respawn here. Welcome to another Animal Crossing video. So in today's video, we are taking a trip down memory lane and taking a look at what Animal Crossing games have looked like since the GameCube version, since the first North American version has been released, and then up until now, and really bring people through the timeline of like when this all happened, and you know, just let people enjoy the progress that has been made. You know, I think people will enjoy this if, you know, you're a long-time Animal Crossing fan. You'll get to see really how far we've come. And then also people who are brand new to the series asking, you know, does this game actually look good compared to previous games? And, you know, what did, you know, the early 2000s look like? So starting off, we've got this amazing pictures. One of my favorite pictures, screenshots, just videos, amazingness of New Horizons, and that is where you've got the 8 players standing on the beach. As you can see, just incredibly clear. A lot of variety in the characters, a lot of variety. We've been through all that, but that's the baseline. That's where we're at right now. So let's go ahead and take a trip back to the GameCube version. And as you can see, this is when you start the game, when you're working for Nook, when you're trying to pay off that initial debt. You've got your work uniform on. Way back in the day, all of the villagers like that you created, your player created villagers, had horns. You know, they had like these things, you know, coming out of your head. It was an interesting dynamic. I don't really know much more about the background of that. But that was a thing, so it's kind of weird, right? I guess I wanted it to be kind of animal-like. I don't know. But as you can see, basic facial features, you know, just like a triangle on the nose. The graphics, you know, this is GameCube. This is the early 2000s. This is not going to be the craziest graphics of all time. As you can see, it's just a black box for the opening to Nook's shop. You know, the grass is square. You know, it's just not it's not the greatest, but it's like beautiful in its own way, right? So that's the GameCube version. After that, a couple years later, we got the Nintendo DS version, and that is Wild World. You can see that below. That was 2005. Earlier 2000s was population growing for GameCube, but as you can see, this is like the top and bottom screen, main menu, and you know, mild improvements, right? It's a little bit blurry because it's hard to get a picture from that time frame on a DS, but there were mild improvements. The trees look a little better and things like that. The grass is very similar but had some updates to it. The flowers are about the same. It wasn't that much of an improvement, right? Because the DS is not as powerful, I don't think, as a GameCube. At least the original DS wasn't. So, you know, mild improvements. That was the first handheld Animal Crossing. So there you have it. I enjoyed Wild World. A lot of people hated it, but that's another story. All right, then we go to one of my favorite Animal Crossings, and that is City Folk. As you can see, just looking at the top and the bottom, you can see the huge improvements that they saw from GameCube to Wii. You know, the trees look better. The grass looks just smoother. The water looks real. I know we don't have a picture of the water up top, but you know, the water just looks more real. You're starting to get that clearer image in the game. And City Folk was honestly one of my favorite games of all time. Probably my first or second favorite game on Nintendo Wii. I played it a ton. I've streamed it before. It is just a very fun game to play. But yeah, so City Folk was definitely a drastic improvement for the series, and I think was mind-blowing in its own right when they released it. So next up, we have the 3DS version. We've got New Leaf. You got Isabelle standing there. Got a house in the background. You've got a little more character customization. Obviously, you can see they kind of backed away from the smaller characters and things like that. You could kind of get some more depth in the characters. The trees were a little bit different in New Leaf. You got the introduction of of a bunch of new features, a bunch of new housing features and things like that. Just a huge improvement. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say that it looked clearer than the Wii version, just because it was on a 3DS, and that is, kind of limited in its own right on what kind of graphics it can put out. But I think like the way that they built the world and the way that everything interacted and things like that, it was definitely a step up and a step in the right direction over City Folk. But New Leaf is going to be that game that people play still today and will continue playing up until New Horizons kind of releases. So kind of basing it off of or following the trend of New Leaf, you've got Happy Home Designer. It's a City Folk, or not City Folk, I'm sorry, New Leaf clone. It's gonna have the same graphics. It's gonna have the same features, same everything like that. I felt like that was an honorable mention that had to be put in there. One game that I'm not putting in here is Amiibo Festival. I refuse to include that game in anything. It is just, that game is awful. It's a fake game, does not count. Little disclaimer there. And then after Happy Home Designer, a few years ago, I think it was like 2 years ago, maybe, it's coming on 3 years maybe, we got Pocket Camp. Everybody's seen Pocket Camp. Everybody is very familiar with that game. It is obviously very clear, very up to date. It is a mobile game, but everything was clear and it moved well, and there was a lot of different features in that game that they brought from previous games that kind of made it a little bit better and expanded upon them and things like that. Obviously not a full-fledged Animal Crossing game, but I did think that it was important to include it in here as a step forward for the series. So, without further ado, the final game here is obviously New Horizons, and we're going to blast that in the middle right there. I mean, just looking at this compared to the other games surrounding it, I know it's kind of a lot going on here, but you can compare it from all different angles. You can just see that the world and the grass is just smooth. The trees look alive. The house looks absolutely just like super crisp. The flowers look amazing compared to, I mean, take a look at the GameCube version flowers and then go ahead and pan over to New Horizon flowers. And you can even look down to New Leaf and Wild World flowers. I think that tells a massive story as to how far we've actually come and how amazing this game is going to be. I've seen some people say that they're disappointed in the graphics for New Horizons, and I simply don't agree with that. I think they look incredible, especially when you put them up against every other main series game that's been released. This picture right here, this collage tells the entire story. This is all that people need to look at in terms of like how good are the graphics. I mean, this settles any argument. It is absolutely stunning. Yes, it's not some Breath of the Wild, open world game, but that's not Animal Crossing, and that's not what the fans want, and that's not, if we got that, it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be Animal Crossing, right? So, like, there you have it, guys. The game looks unbelievable when compared to other games. Drop a comment, guys. What do you think? What do you think is your favorite screenshot and things like that? How well do you think they did? Drop a comment. Do you think the graphics are updated? Do you think that they did a good job here? Do you think that they did enough compared to other games? Let me know. Would love to hear that. Also, again, if you have any ideas, drop a comment. Would love to do a video on your guys' ideas. Thanks for stopping by, guys. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Drop a like. It does incredible things for the algorithm. And I will catch you guys on the next Animal Crossing New Horizons video coming soon. Later.